All right. Good evening. My name is Renan. I'm from Brazil, but I got recently to Portugal. I work for Dash Dash as a software engineer, and I came from Porto, Portugal. And before coming to Europe, I was a community organizer in Brazil. Organized Flutter Campinas, organized hackathon, etc. Actually, I think I remember this place here where you guys took a photo doing like this, and we took a photo doing the opposite side, and we posted on Twitter. Uh, and open sourcer. I like to define myself like that. I don't know if that's a real word, but I maintain some packages like Nix, Bitmap, and I contribute for Flame. Flame is a game engine built for Flutter. Uh, Bitmap is a lib where you can manipulate bitmaps with lookup tables algorithms using the Dart FFY. And Nix is something I'm still working on, but it's a lib to help you to create photo editors with Flutter. And recently I joined Flutter Portugal. We organize events on a quite regular basis in Portugal, all over the territory, Madeira, Açores, Porto, Lisbon. We got some workshops there, and we are spreading the words of Flutter there. All right, so what's PhotoView? A PhotoView can be defined easily as a zoomable image widget. That's it. That's the main reason the PhotoView exists. It can let you to put an image and zoom and respond to some user gestures like rotation, scale, and panning, and double tap. All right. And some stuff that made me fall in love with Flutter is, I'm sure most people, this was some factors for most people that is using Flutter right now, is it's simple to use. It's gives the output is usual, really great for the user, and the extensibility for Flutter and is great. So this is the three things that I wanted to put into PhotoView. It's simple to use always. So if your usage is simple, you shouldn't be writing too many codes. It should be usable, and it should be extensible as your need goes to be more complex. You can go forward without having to fork and copy code and stuff like that. So let's go to some code. Small app I made. It's just main. We have an app, some app, and we have a widget right here saying hello London. So I'm going to play all. Okay. Well, that's it. I think we're good now. So just shows a text, all right? So how we can start using PhotoView? It's quite simple. Oh. We have we put a dependency here, like PhotoView, and last version just released. Packages get. All right. As we just got a new package, it's possible to use it here. And everything you need is an image provider. We have lots of them, but since I got some images presetted here on assets, so it will be, oops, it will be an image provider, asset image, okay. Okay, so we have photo view here with double taps, scaling. Let's see the dog. I like the dog in this photo. And double tap goes back to original size, all right? Pretty simple. And this was since the first version of PhotoView, this is possible to do, but we've added as the project got some new needs and insights from the community. PhotoView got some new options, so we have several of them here. Actually, if you use every single PhotoView option, your controller will look like that somehow. But you don't need to use all of them. Only image provider is required. Okay. So some features we have. So we listen for double tap gestures, pinch gesture, rotation gesture. It exposes a controller. We explain a little bit about this in a bit. And we got a gallery as well. So I started this presentation as just a way to say how you can use PhotoView, but that's not the whole point here, because I got to learn some stuff when doing PhotoView, and I wanted to share this knowledge with you guys tonight. So this was the biggest problem that I tried to solve and keep in that way while PhotoView got bigger and bigger. And so how we can provide a simple API, all right, a simple usage API, while doing complex things without exposing complex operations to the user. The user is the developer, which is using PhotoView and it's in this app. And how can the user of PhotoView be able to extend it, to customize it without having to fork the repository and make his customization in the source code. So that's why we got all of these options. All right. So we are going through some rounds. All right. Each round has a need we will be attending, and we got some of those rounds has some specific challenges that I will share to you how it was tackled. All right. So we have the first round. What we need to do, what we want to do right now, is just put an image in the center. All right. And apply scale when double tapping. That's all we got. That's what we need to do right now. So how would we do this layout? Normally with PhotoView, probably we would put a center, an image. So as we learn about Flutter, we learn about some layouts in widgets. There's several ways we can compose this very simple screen. In order to put scale, we would wrap the image in a transform or something like that and put it scale there, and a gesture detector, wrap everything on a gesture detector to listen for double tap gestures. But something I wanted to explain here is those two very important things when understanding PhotoView. We have the image size, the blue rectangle, and the container size, all right? This is very important because PhotoView is basically about sizing the blue rectangle inside the yellow rectangle. So we have a variable container. This can change if you have a app that allows the user to change between portrait and landscape. This is the sizes, container size is really changeable, and image as well. You don't ever know how which size of the image we are going to have when you are building perhaps an app for, I don't know, a gallery image. So we don't know the size of the image of the user. So this is very important. We have to be flexible regarding those two things. All right, going back to our layout, we would build with an image, all right? This is a very simple way to represent the idea. A center there or something like that, alignment, and a gesture detector, all right? We would put a transform somewhere, perhaps a container around the center to put a background and stuff like that. All right, but this is not what we want, because in this case, scale 1.0 would mean in this screen, the image would assume a size different than the other screen. So no, we don't want that. Do that because scale is about image. So scale 1.0 should be this, all right? Scale 1.0 should keep the original size of the image. Don't matter if the image is 4K. So if we got a very large image, the 1.0 would show the image on its original pixel size. Okay, so a good solution we got there. I think there's several ways to tackle this problem with some widgets, but I think the cleanest way and I think the safest way to solve this is with single child layout delegate. All right, I will explain this with PhotoView source code. Okay, this is PhotoView source code, and this is our delegate. All right, it's called center, but we can change it into any alignment. It could be top center or something like that. And we extend single child delegate. When we extend this, we have to override get position for child. So we basically center the image when the alignment is centered or whatever, and get constraints. So we tight the image to the size, pass it through here, okay? And that's it. We can use this. I'm gonna show in the widget tree here with a custom single child layout with this delegate, and that's it, all right? That was the first thing from back there. Flutter was not even in beta when I got to do this, but I think it's something that people don't usually know that. It's not the most known feature for Flutter, but it can help you a lot. It's really, really flexible. So this is how it came to be. And all right, double tapping. So we double tap the image, all right? What you should do. We double tap here. So I'm gonna show the app again. Okay, it's there. When you double tap, we have some changes, but it has a logic cycle here. So this is the starting size. We double tap, we go to this. We double tap, we go to this, and go back to initial. Okay, I'm going to change because I like the second image most. Oops, name there. Okay, I prefer this image. All right, and double tapping. There's a logic here. So which is the logic, all right? Is the scale state cycle. So when we start to render PhotoView, we have contained. Contained is basically this on the right, here, on the left, sorry. And then we got covered. When we double tap again, and we double tap again, we go to original, all right? And it's possible to customize it here. PhotoView receives an option. Let me open main again, which is scale state cycle, right? And this receives a prev, scale state. And then we can implement like if prev equals PhotoView scale, PhotoView scale state dot covering, right? We change into initial. Well, initial, right? And then return. If it's different than covering, we return cover. PhotoView, PhotoView, cover. Okay. So we just go between initial and covering with this example. All right, that's the first option. we got here. A simple one is background decoration. We change the background, not here right now. We have a background, but with this option, with is a box decoration, we can change it into any box decoration object like gradient and stuff like that, right? Oh. All right, so that's it. That's our first round, was quite simple. The second round is simple as well. We have a pinch gesture and a rotation gesture. Pinch gesture is basically, right, sorry, I have to say changing, but it's basically this, right? It follows my fingers. And rotation is like when I'm doing this, the image should rotate. It's possible when I'm doing, when I enable rotation here. It does this. It follows your finger. So this is quite simple. The gesture detector has 3 callbacks for scaling, start, update, and end. And when you start, I can store how the state, the internal state of PhotoView is, like scale, position, and rotation. And when it starts, we save this. And when we update, we sum or multiply the initial stage, the saved stage into those updated. So here we are starting like with this size, right? So the gesture started right now, update and end, all right? And in the end, we apply fling operations, like when I'm panning, I don't want the image to suddenly stop when I take the finger off the screen. So the ending provides a velocity factor, and we can keep animating even before I move my finger off the screen, right? Okay, but we have a problem here because, all right, we have a double tap scale state cycle, right? What should I do when I'm on initial and then I zoom in? Which scale state cycle I'm in right now? So it's a new gesture. It's a new way to respond in this scale state cycle. So we have the new cycle. We have a new state. It's zooming, and the dashed line represents the pinch gesture. All right, and the double tap gesture is the normal line. Okay. So this is what I just explained. But when we got to apply rotation, it was just usually, right now we do this on the update, scale details, gesture details, provides a rotation, but this was because PhotoView exists. This attributes on details exist because PhotoView exists. At that time, there was no rotation, and we got to implement that, me and a friend of mine. So how it was made, how rotation works on Flutter. It was implemented on scale gesture detector. And when I put a finger in the screen, the scale gesture starts, all right? This happens on PhotoView because we only have scale and double tap callbacks. On a gesture detector. If you have a pan callback, a tap down callback, those will be fired as well. But since we have just scale wins on the gesture arena. So we have the first finger here, the gesture starts, scale starts, all right? When we put another finger to the screen, we got a line, all right? This always happens. No matter how fast you go, the framework, the gesture framework, always points a first pointer and a second pointer, all right? And when the user rotates, we got a new line. And since we got a new line, we have an angle there, and we can pass this angle to the details, and that's how we got rotation on Flutter. Right. And the third round is custom child, all right? and limits, boundaries, scaling boundaries. Like I don't want the user to zoom out the image until it disappears in the screen. At the same time, I don't want to let the user to zoom in like this into the pixels, because it's possible. PhotoView has no opinion about that. Okay. All right. But for custom child is a common need that the community asked for, is to put any kind of widget instead of the image. All right. But we got a problem there, because here, PhotoView depends on those two sides we get on runtime. And when you don't have an image, it's anything, a widget cannot know the size of its children. You don't know their constraints. You don't know if they define constraints for themselves. So the size could be any size. So we got a new constructor, all right, to be able to do this. I'll just make an example here and then go back. Custom child, all right, and the child can be container, which has child text. All right, container here. Am I missing something? Yeah, I think. All right, that's it. All right, and the child size will be a size like 50 by 50. Well, let's see, it has a widget of 50. It's quite difficult, but it's like necessary. All right, child size, oh, not here. PhotoView, custom child, okay. Let's see how it goes. All right, yeah, let's change the decoration. Box decoration will be like white. Okay, and we got to zoom in, zoom out the widget, right? That's the original size, overing, and stuff like that. And this enables user to put anything that's visual, including SVG, videos, anything you can put here is you can put on Flutter, you can put inside of PhotoView as well. Okay. Let's go back to our implementation, because I'm gonna need that code. Okay. Right. And next thing is max scale. Sorry. Next thing is max scale and min scale, initial scale. Those are boundaries for usage. And it's pretty easy to scale the image, scale the sizing, to put boundaries based on the size of the image. Like 2.0 max scale, user cannot ever scale image bigger than double its size. But what if I need to do this? Scale, the max scale the image can do is the size of the container. Of course, this is possible when using PhotoView, if you get a layout builder or something like that and make some math operations, but this is hard, and PhotoView should be easy to use. So the solution was kind of different and new. We take advantage of something that I love about the language, about Dart. It's operator overloading. Percy has said that, has talked about that in the previous presentation. So how can I max the scale? All right, let's see 2.0. See 1.0, all right. Sorry, it's closing. Okay. I can't go more than this. So let's say half the size of the image. I don't know, 0.5. So we can go. You can't let the image be bigger than that. All right. So how do we size with the size of the screen, max scale with the size of the screen? So this will be PhotoView computed scale. PhotoView. PhotoView computed scale. All right. And we have contained and covered here, right? Let's say it can go bigger than covered. It doesn't let the user to stick with the image on a larger size than covered. So what we have so special in this enum here, PhotoView computed scale? Well, let's see if mean scale, all right, let's change to mean scale. I don't want this, I want it to mean scale be the half of the size of the screen. So let's say contain it, all right? Sorry. Okay, this is the size of the screen. I want the mean scale to be like this, right? Half the size of the screen. I can multiply this and on, sorry, wrong place here. Okay. It doesn't let you to go smaller than half of the size of the screen. So how does this work? How you can multiply an enum? I got to say, this is not an enum, this is a class, all right, with a private constructor. And we overload this operator and save the value inside of the instance, all right? And on runtime, we get this value and multiply by the size of the screen, because you only know the size of the container in runtime. This can change it multiple times, so we save it here on multiplier, and inside the widget we can get this value back. So this is the other thing that I learned about Flutter with PhotoView, that we can overload operators and take advantage of that. A really nice advantage. And for comparison sakes, I overloaded as well equals, and we don't consider the multiplier in equals. Okay. And this is for runtime sake, runtime operation. And the fourth round, all right. We have some needs here. First thing, PhotoView got state. PhotoView stores position, stores scale, state, containers, cover, etc., and rotation inside its state. So there was a lot of use cases. The community came to me through issues and stuff like that, and said, I need to access internal states of PhotoView. How can I do that? Before controllers, it was only possible if you forked PhotoView and integrated that code into your app code. That's not a good thing. And we got some needs, like, for example, make things disappear when the image zoom in. This is usual for gallery apps, photo gallery apps. When you zoom in, the HUD that shows the size of the image, the date, and stuff like that disappears, fade out. Scale factor, like you have a slider, and when user moves that slider, the image scales. We got that and that as well, and that's reset buttons. This changes the state, so not only has access and listen for state changes, but change the state itself as well. And we have zoom in and zoom out buttons, stuff like that. So the solution is controllers. What's controllers? Well, usual widgets that we build every day, stateful widgets, has states inside of it, and it controls its own state. It has its own life cycle, and nobody else has access to that state unless you pass it through some props to children, but parents never know that state. All right, so we want to make it a little bit different. Uh, let's say the widget will not control itself anymore. It will be like a puppet, and we control it. So we have the state, we control the state, and we pass the state and control it, all right, from outside. So the solution is like this. We have a widget, all right, and the controller now has the state, and the controller is extensible by the developer who's using PhotoView. And the app can control and listen for state changes as well. Let's say a fast example here. We've got some options. I have this option controller. There's two controllers actually. Scale state I have to separate from other values because we have some problems because scale is dependent from scale state, and scale state is dependent from scale changes. So it was not the best API. Using only one controller, it was quite confusing, and there was some bugs. But we can instantiate it here. Let's make this stateful to make a to have a long life, to have a place where we can have a longer life. Sorry, this laptop has a Portuguese keyboard, and I'm new to it. It's really, really difficult to type into it in here. Over to stateful, right? And now we're gonna save controller here on our state. So we have a PhotoView controller. And on each state, I'm gonna instantiate the controller. PhotoView controller. And on dispose, I'm going to dispose. Okay, yes, here super goes before. Okay, and then we can pass it into PhotoView. I hope it will work the same way. All right, let's see. Okay, it's working the same way. All right. So let's put, I know, let's wrap PhotoView on a stack. On a widget, on a stack, perhaps. And the container here, and the child. Oh, right, yeah, sorry. Thank you. Let's put a container. Is that all right? Children. Yeah. Thank you. Great. Not forget anything? No. Container. Let's put a PhotoView inside a container. It's container here. I think that's. Let's put on a positioner. Top 0, left 0, up, fill. Yeah, forgot about that. That's it. And after position of fill, here. Let's say container, and then we have a raised button. All right, and child, text, tap something. Tap here, compressed. Are we getting updated here? What? All right. Oh, that was not. How did I manage to do this? Oh, let's put on a column. Sorry, guys. Position not inside. We cannot put a position here. Let's put a container. Yeah, live coding like that. That was not like a rehearsed. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Just lost myself when I rehearsed here. Sorry, guys. But let's see. How can I put a gesture detector here? Important thing is when we got a controller, we got a stream. So we got an output screen. We got we know how to what to know how is a value at some time at some time, and we can listen to a stream. Here we got an output controller, and this controller prints a stream, and that's kind of it. This is we got an interface, an abstract class for a controller. This is the controller base, and this is the type that PhotoView receives. So you can create your own implementation of the controller, but it's pretty simple to use. Sorry, I just lost myself when I rehearsed. Okay. And that's it. I think controller is quite a nice design pattern. I would advise to use whenever you need to make a widget to be like a puppet and controllable from outside. Sometimes you just go to, I think, more complex, sometimes unneeded complex patterns like block. Sometimes you don't need block, just controller can make can make your widget pretty extensible, and that's it. The fifth round was to make something like this, a photo gallery, when you can swipe back and forth your images and view it's like a page view. So the first thing we think when seeing this is perhaps page view and putting setting every page as a photo view thing, but this is kind of a problem here because we got a gesture detector with scale, and sometimes scale lists them for panning gestures. All right, this is quite useful when you are zooming the image and want to see the corner of the image. And this is a problem because page view is scrollable, and inside the scrollable, the gesture arena gives priority to parent scrollables, and gesture detector inside of it you lose it. So when putting photo view inside of page view, panning will never work. Just scaling sometimes. Because if you put some finger, start moving it before putting the second finger, the scrollable will win. So the solution was to build our own gesture detector, and this forces. I will show source code. This forces PhotoView's gesture detector to win on the arena. So we got output state string from the controller. This is inside in the core, PhotoView core. Inside of PhotoView, and we have PhotoView gesture detector, all right? And PhotoView gesture detector receives this thing. That's a this, it's a heat detector, all right? But if we look into the signature here, the heat detector is a heat corners detector, which is a mixing, and it has a heat, corner heating mechanism. So when we hit the left side of the image and we can't go back and forth, so you're zooming, all right? Let's picture we are inside of PhotoView and we are zooming, and when we hit the corner, we want to let page views gesture detector to win that time, but every other time our gesture detector wins, right? And if we hit this corner, but we wanna paint for this size, we have to win, all right? This is the same thing for the y-axis, because we have vertical page views. So this is the heat corner mechanism. We have those calculations. And inside our gesture detector, we extend the scale gesture recognizer. This is Flutter's, and we got ours, and we test it, all right, updates distance and stuff like that. And if it's not a pointer movement, I don't want to make the calculations. But then if we have a validation access, if it's inside a gallery, basically, heat detector tell us if we should or not move at that time. If we should move, we resolve, and then we win the gesture arena. That's another concept that I learned when building PhotoView. And this was actually the most recent change I made on PhotoView. It was from a long living issue. Some guy created this issue like in October last year, and I got just this year. And all the rounds are cleared, all right? So on only finishing right now. This is the app this is the app that is the reason for PhotoView existing. It's a photo editing app using bitmap and PhotoView and stuff like that. And we got, this is a very complex usage of PhotoView. Next features will be like showing the image before and after. So then we will have two photo views synced by the controller. So only one controller controls two photo views. So when I'm zoom the before, I will zoom the after the changes. The future is quite promising, I can say. There's this idea of applying custom physics on PhotoView, the same way we apply custom physics on this view. Is ever scrollable. In Flutter, we can apply custom physics, custom scroll physics. Here, we're going to have custom PhotoView physics, something like that. We have to improve controllability and improve image loading process. That today we just show a loading, but there's some ideas that you can show, perhaps you can show a not so big quality version of the image, and then improving the quality as the image loads. This is another thing I have in mind to do, the roadmap, and contribute. Pull requests are welcome. It's on my pull request. You'll find on my website in the beginning of the presentation. And I hope you liked it. Thank you. And as we see in Brazil, valeu, falou.
Any questions?
Questions?
Question, child. What do you do to allow the child to expand? Is that just using transform, or is that
Yeah, it's the same way. The same thing I use to the image is transform. Yeah, we don't have render elements here, just widgets, just combination of widgets. Transform for rotation, scale, and stuff like that. And there's not much element in the screen with PhotoView, only the background and the foreground. the subject, I like to say. So we wrap the image on a transform and everything on a gesture detector. So those are invisible widgets. We got the child delegate and a container to make a background. So there's not much complexity on the widget tree, but there's some complexity when controlling the state values. This is quite a difficult thing to do.
Have you looked at sampling an image and then just drawing bitmaps?
Right. No, I haven't went deep in image rendering. If you look inside PhotoView, in the end, you just have an image widget there. So I hope to improve that in a bit, because we don't have a progressive loading with the image widget. Is there some problem that when you use a different provider from Flutter, like cached network provider, we got some bugs integrating with that package. So I hope to improve the rendering process as we got to make bitmap, and we got those bitmap operations with the Dart FFY. I think now we have the performance to look into the image rendering process. Yeah, I got to make tests on Let's Picture with driver, Flutter driver and snapshots and stuff like that. But hopefully, I hope that I can improve the test coverage of PhotoView. We got unit tests on the logic parts like reach detection and controller, but visually just on PhotoView. But we can improve that as well. That's in the planned roadmap. And pull requests are welcome as well. So if you have any good idea. All right.
Anybody else? Any questions?
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much.